Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of my Megapark. Now in this episode I want to work on the centerpiece of the park. I want to have something big here. I didn't really know what I wanted here, but I've decided I want to have a big custom Ferris wheel here. Now the first thing I will do is I will make some extra space here, because this space that we have here now is not nearly enough for what I want to build. So first I'll make some paths around it, then I'll delete this part over here, and then later when we're done I'll rebuild the paths around it. Okay, well, some of this will be a bit of improvisation, because I don't really have done custom Ferris wheels before. I have experimented a bit in the past few days with making one of these. I actually ended up shoestringing something, but then it didn't work out because the stats for rides were no longer calculated in the park. But then I found a method which could actually work. So now I will just create a track which the cars for the Ferris wheel will ride on. By the way, this track design that I will use now has also been used by several contestants in my contests. I believe the first one I saw use this particular design was Mamaria's in the Intamin Accelerator contest. So yeah, if you're on my Discord, you can look up all the previous entries. Now you can actually merge vertical tracks which go in opposite directions, so that's what I will do here. So first I built a vertical section upwards, then I rotated it, and now I'm building downwards, and right here I will make sure they overlap, and the car will actually continue from one track to the other, but you'll see that in action a bit later. Now here on this section we'll do another merge just like this one, but in the other direction. And now to make sure the trains will go to the correct tile as they're going through the track, I'll have to reorder them. So right now we have this piece selected. We want the trains to go to this piece as they're going through the track, so this piece has to be on the bottom in the list. Same here, we want the trains to go to this track piece. And now I have the correct piece selected, and if the trains have to go to this piece, this track piece has to be on the bottom in the list. So right now, this track piece that I've selected, if I move it up and down, you can see it's the piece that we need to go to. I've tried several different cars for the Ferris wheel. For example, we could use monorail trains. The problem if we use these is that on these sloped sections the cars will all be sloped, and yeah, it just looks nicer when the cars are just flat. So yeah, that's something I don't really like about these cars. Something I've also played with is the chairlift cars. These also work quite well, except that at this part where they merges they will suddenly rotate, and it looks quite jarring. So yeah, it's not really something that I liked. So the trains that actually worked best for me, and that also most people with this concept use, is the river rafts. You can actually recolor them if we make them white. I think it works nicely as a car for a Ferris wheel. Okay, I've checked how many of these cars would fit on this part of the track, so we'll disable the vehicle limits, and I saw that we would need 49 cars. Now there's yet another problem if we spawn them, except that we need to change to a different ride type. Let's do boat hire mode. Now, one issue we have here is that if we try to spawn the train, it stops spawning right here at the place of the merge. So there's about 20 cars here, and the last 30 or 29 are all bunched up in this last car. That's because the track stops here. So we're gonna have to use some extra track to spawn the rest of the train. Now for that I will just use a simple trick. I will use the rotated vertical track just because it's longer, so it also occupies less objects. Now this track will be invisible later, so you don't have to worry about this track looking ugly. All I really care about now is that we will be able to spawn the train. Okay, looks like it's not long enough yet. Maybe it is now. Still not long enough. Okay, I've spawned the full train now. So let's watch it in action. Well, it goes quite fast now, but alright, it has reached the station now. Now it also calculates the stats. It will probably have some weird stats. And now you can see it going on the speed at which it would usually go. Now these boats will rotate right over here. But since these boats pretty much look the same from both sides, it's not that noticeable. Alright, and there we have the stats of the ride. So yeah, now we know it works fine. So what we could do now is change it to the lift, and then we have a nice full custom Ferris wheel. Now of course we'll need to make some spokes. We need to decorate the ride, but at least we have the base structure now. Alright, I will now decorate the track, see if we can make it into something nice. Okay, I've now added a support structure to actually support the Ferris wheel. I added these spokes made of junior coaster track and limb coaster track. Of course, normally these spokes would move with the Ferris wheel, but Obviously that's not something that's possible in Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. So I'll just leave it for now. And the rotating of the spokes is up to your imagination. But I have to say I'm quite happy with the way these spokes look. And I'm not adding an outer track here because I'm actually fine with the way it looks now. Okay, what I'm going to do next is make a station. I sort of want to make this look like a temple which the coaster rests on top of. So I'll see if I can make it look nice. Now, to make the temple, I will use these temple pieces. They're from one of the expansions. I don't use them very often, but I think in this situation they will look quite nice. So I'll just give it a try. Okay, that was quite tough. This is the first time I actually work with these temple pieces, so it's a bit out of my comfort zone, but I think in the end it worked out fine. Now, I think it's time to open our ride. There's probably many guests who will flock towards it. What I will do now is work on the immediately surrounding area. So I'll make a path around the Ferris wheel and I'll decorate the area between the temple and the path and the entrance to the Ferris wheel. Now you can see tons of guests heading to the Ferris wheel from all over the park. Yeah, that's just a thing that happens with whenever you open a new ride and when there's thousands of guests in the park. They all want to try out a new ride. But thankfully this Ferris wheel holds around 200 guests. So yeah, it should fill up slowly. Of course, in a real Ferris wheel it would just stop all the time and just let guests in one carriage at a time or 3 carriages at a time. But yeah, here somehow all these guests are able to climb in at the same time, even while the carriage might be up top. But yeah, that's just some unrealism that I'll accept. one downside of having a ride with so many guests is that they all exit at the same time, all bunched up like this. So they will immediately complain that it's too crowded in the park, and that will actually quite rapidly decrease their happiness. Oh well, in a while the Ferris Wheel will not be so popular anymore, so then it will be less of an issue. Alright, I'm really happy with the way this Ferris wheel turned out. I actually wasted a lot of time in a previous recording episode where I also got a Ferris wheel to work while using advanced techniques like shoestringing, but it ended up stopping all stat calculation in my park unless I closed the Ferris wheel. So yeah, that was not really what I wanted. So that's why I redid the Ferris wheel, and now it's just one ride. And I think it works well. I was actually considering making the queue line a bit longer since it holds so many guests, but I doubt it will always have this many guests waiting to enter it. Like I said, it holds a lot of guests, almost 200. Right now the queues are crazy, but that's just because it's a new ride. And in the future the rate of guests going towards it will probably be a lot smaller. So yeah, I'm gonna keep the queue as it is. It is quite short, but I'm okay with it. Alright, I hope you enjoyed watching me build this Ferris wheel, and I'll see you again in the next episode. See you later.